Seriously? Hey guys, and welcome to this top 5s video with me, 6+ Stevo. Orcs love their Dakka. I love a bit of Dakka. If you're watching this video, I suspect you love a bit of Dakka as well. That is why I've made this top 5s video my top 5 Ork Gunz. And what do I mean by Ork Gunz? Well, for the purposes of this top 5s, I've had to set down some ground rules and some restrictions. So, relic weapons are out, so we're going to have no shiny gubbins here, just bog standard issue Ork Gunz. Also, I'm going to restrict this to just weapons that can be equipped by infantry models. So weapons that have to be mounted onto vehicles or cans or artillery are out, so we won't see anything like custom mega cannons or bubble chuckers or anything like that. Perhaps I'll save those for a future video, who knows. But yeah, this is just going to be the top 5 Ork Gunz that can be equipped by infantry. Infantry that covers Ork boys, obviously, Ork knobs, but it will also cover HQ like war bosses and big mechs. But I will avoid weapons, much like with the relics, that only come equipped on special characters. Like I said, I'm just going to keep this as to the bog standard weaponry. So, yeah, this has been quite a challenging one to put together. Top 5 Ork Gunz. There is a lot to choose from, and going over the stats and the points costs and the special rules for a lot of these guns has been interesting, and I've changed my mind quite a few times. And there are some weapons on here that didn't make the grade, at least according to my humble opinion. I'm sure listening to this top 5 you will have your own opinions and you'll probably scoff at some of my choices. If you do, please, I welcome you to share what your top 5s are in the comment section below, or feel free to shout at me for not including your favourite shooter in this list. But anyway, I've waffled on long enough. Without further ado, let's get straight to it and find out what's coming at number 5. And so, just squeezing in and making the grade to get in on this top 5 list, at number 5 is the Teleport Blaster. This is a weapon I have a bit of a soft spot for, and for good reason. It's a weapon that is equipped by a big mech in mega armor. It comes in at 11 points. It has a range of 12 inches. Its type is Assault 3, Strength 8, very nice indeed, AP -2, also very nice, with a damage of 1. So why is this weapon on the list? Well, like I said, 11 points. That's an absolute steal in my book for what this weapon has the potential to do. It gets a nice amount of shots. 3 shots is nothing to be sniffed at. Strength 8 is certainly nothing to be sniffed at. And like I said, it's got a good AP. But what makes this weapon really special is that if a target suffers an unsaved wound from this weapon, you then roll a d6 at the end of the turn, and if the result of that d6 is higher than that model's wounds characteristic, that model is just slain outright. No invulnerable saves, no ignores wounds, nothing like that. It's just slain. And yeah, so that is very nice. Obviously, against models that have a high wounds characteristic, this is going to be fairly ineffective. But against something that's got maybe 3 wounds, 4 wounds, this stands a really high chance at just slaying that model outright. And yeah, that's quite a nice little bonus. And even without that, being at Strength 8, AP -2, it's gonna punch some wounds off some, you know, fairly tough models. Why is it only at number 5 on this list? Well, like I said, it's got a short range of 12 inches. That's a bit of a downside for it. only damage 1 for each shot, so it's, you know, it's not putting out a huge amount of wounds. And also, the big drawback to the teleport blaster is that by having this, you give up the chance of having a custom force field, and we know how awesome and invaluable custom force field is. But for the points and for the potential of what it could do, and just for the rule of cool, because this thing is an awesome looking weapon. Like I said, I've got a real soft spot for this. It had to squeeze onto the list somehow. But yeah, there you go, guys. The Teleport Blaster. Okay, in at number 4, a popular choice, I imagine, is the Defcannon. I can imagine a lot of you out there is already screaming that this should be much higher up on the list. Looters are incredibly popular, and with good reason. Looters come in at 17 points each. The Defcannon itself is free, it's just part of their cost, and its stats are as follows. It has a range of 48 inches, really impressive. It's a heavy type weapon that fires D3 shots. It is strength 7, AP -1 with 2 damage. So yeah, Defcannon, like I said, are incredibly popular. Looters are incredibly popular, and there's good reason for that. These guys really do fulfill an important role in the Ork army. They are there right from the beginning of the game, able to lay down a withering hail of fire onto the enemy and keep the enemy's heads down and distract the enemy from your advancing forces. And there's not many guns in our arsenal that have this sort of range and this sort of heavy firepower potential. D3 shots is very nice. The special rule for the Defcannons and the Looters is that you roll 1 D3 for the squad. So the whole squad will either fire 1 shot or 2 shots or 3 shots. And if you're firing 3 shots with these guys and you've got a full squad of up to 15 Looters, that's 45 strength 7 shots coming down on the enemy, all doing 2 damage each. So yeah, these guys can really cause some serious pain to infantry and vehicles alike. It's just a really good workhorse weapon for your army, and like I said, they can be firing from turn 1 right across the other side of the board and just pummeling everyone from almost anywhere on the battlefield. Yeah, Looters and Defcannons are really, really nice indeed. Again, the only reason they're not probably a little bit higher on the list is the D3 shots. Obviously, if you're being unlucky, as I would be with the dice rolls, you'll be firing 1 shot each a lot of the time. It only has -1 AP, which is nice. It is nice, and that -1 can make a lot of difference. And like I said, this can be used against vehicles, although that it's strength 7, it's going to be fairly ineffective against anything higher than sort of medium armour. Once you're coming up against toughness 8, the usefulness of the Defcannon really does drop quite drastically, because now you're wounded on 5+, and yeah, it's not many of them are going to get through. But the ones that do get through are causing a flat 2 damage each. It's nice, reliable damage. But yeah, just a fantastic gun that's incredibly useful, and yeah, I think you will always have a use for a Defcannon, no matter who you're facing. So that's why the Defcannon is in at number 4. So in at number 3 we have the Custom Mega Blaster, and this is a weapon that a few months back, before the release of our nice shiny new codex, would have stood no chance in hell at getting on a top 5s list, because in the index this gun was, in all honesty, a bit crap. It cost 9 points. That's only 3 points less than a rocket launcher, but it did D3 damage instead of the flat 3 that a rocket launcher does, and it had the gets hot rule, and there was just not any real good reason to carry this over a rocket launcher. In fact, I made a whole video on this. I'll pop the link to that on screen now if you want to check that one out. And that video was basically a wish list in my ideas on how they could fix the custom Mega Blaster to make it a feasible choice over the rocket launcher, because it just wasn't back then. It was just, there was absolutely no good reason to take a custom Mega Blaster over a rocket launcher. Well, I think GW must have been listening or watching that video, because they basically did exactly what I asked for. They upped the damage of this thing from D3 to D6, and just by making that simple fix, you have now created a really, really, really good weapon that definitely makes the choice between a custom Mega Blaster and a rocket launcher quite a tricky choice, because yeah, the rocket launcher is really good. It's got the flat 3 damage, but the custom Mega Blaster, being able to have the potential to do up to 6 wounds is really, really nice. It does, like I say, comes with the gets hot rule though, so if you're rolling 1s to hit, you're going to be suffering mortal wounds. So this weapon does come with a risk, but now you've got that risk reward. Yeah, there is a bit of a risk, but there is a really high reward at the end of it if you're lucky with your dice. And if you're a bad moon like me, you can be re-rolling those 1s anyway, so you don't have to worry about that. It's got a range of 24 inches, assault 1, so it's only 1 shot, but it's strength 8, and it's got a really nice AP of -3, and yeah, D6 damage is lovely. We're getting close to las cannon territory here with this thing. This can seriously put the hurt on just about any vehicle. Or any model with a high wounds characteristic. This thing's going to be causing some serious damage, and I think for 9 points it's costed just about right. And yeah, I just really like custom Mega Blasters. I think they're really, really cool. These things can be carried by mechs, by big mechs, and they fit those models perfectly fluff wise. Again, like the Teleport Blaster, it comes with the rule of cool. It's basically sort of overcharged plasma, or the Ork's version of that. And yeah, just really cool. Custom Mega Blaster, number 3. Okay, in at number 2, we have the Shock Attack Gun. Let's get straight into it. Shock Attack Gun, range 60 inches, type heavy D6, strength 2d6, AP -5, and damage D6. And this thing comes in at 25 points, and this can be equipped by a big mech. Right, so straight away, let's just get into some of the pluses that this thing's got. Range 60 inches, beautiful. This thing's going to hit anyone from pretty much anywhere on the board, as long as you've got line of sight. Heavy D6, so potentially 6 shots. Strength 2d6, so potentially strength 12, possibly strength 2. AP -5 is just incredible. You're getting no saves against this thing unless you've got invulnerable saves, but we'll get into that in a minute, potentially not even those. And damage D6, so yeah, like the custom Mega Blaster, has the potential to cause a horrendous amount of damage. For what this thing has the potential to do, the points are fairly good. I think the points are fairly low on this because of its highly random nature. You could fire 1 shot, it could be at strength 2, and it could do 1 damage, in which case you're not going to think this is a very good gun. But this comes with a lot of special rules as well. On top of that, when you're rolling for your strength, if you get 11 or more for your strength roll, this thing causes an additional D3 mortal wounds on top of the regular damage you do. So yeah, this thing could potentially in 1 shot cause 9 wounds. It could cause 6 damage from its normal shots, plus an extra 3 mortal wounds on top of that. And it's far up to 6 shots, you know. Potentially this could cause just insane amounts of wounds. This has the potential in 1 round of firing to take out most tanks. It really does. It really does. Provided that is if you're rolling good. But yeah, I just think it's an awesome gun. I've had some good fun with the shock attack gun. It's never boring. It's always an entertaining weapon to use, and fluff wise and lore wise, it's such a cool gun. I mean, this thing sucks up snotlings and fires them through a portal so that they materialize within their host target and tear them up from within, or yeah, it basically it's something that only the orcs could create, put it that way. And it's brilliant. It looks gorgeous. It's really random and crazy, like all good orc stuff should be. It has the potential to be really crap, but it has the potential to be really, really good. And in most games, it will probably do all of the above in one game. One round of shooting, this thing's going to decimate the foe. Next round, it's going to achieve absolute dick. But that's what makes orcs so fun. And yeah, the shock attack gun had to be on this list. It's such a crazy, zany, mad gun that it just had to be on this list. So yeah, there we go. In at number 2, the shock attack gun. But before we get to number 1, let's just go over some honourable mentions, because like I said, this was a difficult list to make, and there were a couple of guns that's so close to getting in this top 5. And I'll just go over those quickly now before we get to the number 1 choice. So we've got, first off, the combi shooter of both varieties, the combi rocket launcher and the combi scorcher. The reason these are cool is because it's a combi weapon. 2 guns are better than 1. And you're not paying any extra points, actually. The shooter part of these guns comes for free, because a combi rocket launcher costs the same as a rocket launcher. Combi scorcher costs the same as a scorcher. The scorcher in particular, because you get those auto hits, D6 auto hits is always lovely. And that means you can advance with this thing and fire at it without suffering any penalties. So yeah, combi weapons, in my opinion, really good. I like them. Next up, we've got the big shooter. Big shooter is a gun I love to include in my shooter boys mobs. Those strength 5 shots just gives it that extra little bit of punch. 3 shots, a nice good range as well. It means your boys mobs can be firing from turn 1. They're always going to be within range to shoot at something with their big shooters, and it's nice to feel like you're not wasting an entire turn with the boys, and they can still lay down some fire with those big shooters, especially in a big mob of 30 of them, and you can have 3 of the guys with these big shooters. Yeah, I like big shooters. I think they're cool. And then the snaz gun. Oh, the snaz gun was so close to being on this list. I was weighing up between the snaz gun and the def gun. It was a tough choice. The snaz gun's really nice. Being at strength 6, it's got damage 2. It gets 3 shots every time. And then of course the flash kits with the snaz gun have a chance at rolling that 6 and getting to shoot all over again. Yes, snaz guns, I love them. They look really cool. They've got some really nice stats. Really good anti-infantry gun. One of the best in the Ork army. I think the def gun won out because it's just a bit more versatile. It's got that better range, and it's going to be useful against sort of light and medium vehicles as well as infantry, which the snaz gun wouldn't be so hot on. But yeah, there you go, guys. There's a few of the honourable mentions anyway. Without further ado, let's see what's got my vote as number 1. Okay, here we go. I kind of feel like I'm going to be torn a new one for this, but hell, it's my list, my choice. Like I say, if you disagree, please share in the comments section below. But yeah, for me, number 1 Ork gun in the Codex is the rocket launcher. This thing I just think is brilliant. I never ever leave home without some rocket launchers in my army, and the reasons why is reliability, which is something that is hard to come by in the Ork army, but it's not so much the gun itself, it's who's got the gun. And when I'm talking about rocket launchers, I'm not talking about a rocket launcher held by an Ork boy. I'm talking about rocket launchers held by tank busters. And yeah, these things I think are just incredible. So the rocket launcher comes in at 12 points. The tank busters themselves are only 5 points, so each tank buster is 17 points. So they're coming in at the same points as looters, and for my money they're so much better than looters. The rocket launcher has a range of 24 inches. It's an assault 1 weapon, so being an assault weapon's nice. You can be on the move with this thing, you can shoot with it anyway, you can advance and shoot with it. Strength 8, beautiful. AP -2, which is really nice, and then it comes with that absolutely gorgeous flat 3 damage. But why is this number 1 on the list? Well, like I say, the tank busters. The tank busters have this ability to, against vehicles, re-roll any misses, which when combined with a rocket launcher makes for such a reliable and powerful unit. And my tank busters never ever fail to please. When they set their sights on a target of the vehicular kind, that thing's dead. It is just dead. When tank busters are used correctly and timed with stratagems and things like that, yeah, vehicles, they're just going to die. They're just not going to survive a volley of rockets from tank busters. Yeah, the flat 3 damage of these things, when fired from a big unit of tank busters, it mounts up very quickly, and yeah, tanks can just be left a smoking wreck easily. Also, even if it's not shot at vehicles, if these are bad moon tank busters, you can still be re-rolling the 1s, and yeah, they can just cause horrendous damage. But yeah, rocket launchers, number 1 for me. I'm already kind of questioning whether I should have put them at number 1, but I've changed my mind on this list far too many times, and this is not a definitive list. You know, this isn't, I'm not telling you these are the best weapons. These are just what I think are the best weapons, and order of my favourites really. But yeah, there you go. My top choice is the rocket launcher. But yeah, there we go guys, there's my top 5. So we've got at number 5 the teleport blaster, at number 4 the def gun, at number 3 the custom mega blaster, at number 2 the always impressive shock attack gun, and at number 1, my personal favourite, the rocket launcher. So what do you think guys? Do you agree with my list? Do you think I'm speaking out of my arsehole? Either way, please share in the comments below. I would love to know what your top 5 favourite Ork guns are. Also, while you're there in the comments section, let me know what other top 5 videos you'd like me to do, because I've got many more planned, but I'm always interested in hearing your ideas and requests. If you've got some particular part of the Codex or part of the Ork faction that you'd like me to cover and do a top 5s on, I'll be more than happy to take a look at it and possibly make a video on it. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. That really does help me and the channel out massively. And if you like more content like this, then please hit that subscribe button. Anyway guys, that's enough for me for now. This is 6 Stevo signing out.